week's Parsha, Baha'alotcha, something very nice from the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Levi Yitzchok Zatzal. In this week's Parsha, we have that the Eibusha tells Moshe Rabbeinu, you should take the Shevet Levi, and he describes three things over there. He says, first of all, you should tell Aaron that he should elevate the Aaron as a Levim. Aaron should pick up, elevate the Levim. What's the meaning of that? Also, later on it says that the Levim will have a job. They will carry the Mishkan when they travel. And in the Mishkan, and also Beis HaMikdash, that job will be Lashir, to sing. We find in the Torah constantly that the Levim were like under, so to say, the guidance, under the umbrella of the Kohanim. V'yilovu alecha, they should be connected to you, bonded to you, following you. They're under the influence of the Kohanim constantly. So what's the meaning of all this? Rabbi Levi will explain this, what it says of Chassidus, and also how it fits in the name of Levi, both in the meaning of his name and also in the gematria and what the Levim was all about. We find in the Torah that a Kohen in Parshas V'zois HaBracha, the Eibusha calls him Ish Chasidecha. It says Levi Yoma, referring to the Kohanim, came also from the Shevet Levi, a branch of a Shevet Levi. Tu mecha v'urecha ye'urim v'tumim, means concerning to the service of the Kohen Gadol, Kohanim, le'ish chasidecha. They had the virtue of chesed, kindness. On the other hand, we find in the Torah, Levi, the first son of Yaakov Avinu, he had a streak of gvura in him, severity, of power. We find him and Shimon destroyed Shechem, and the Yaakov Avinu says in Parshas Vayechi, Shimon v'Achem, the two brothers, Shimon and Levi Achem, he wants to separate them because together, there was too much energy there that could reach, that could bring to not good places, not good things. So it explains the Chassidus like this, that there's two types of avodas Hashem, and both are important, and they complement each other. And that is, it's in Hebrew it's called a rotzoi v'shuv. A person, by nature, his soul cleaves onto Hashem, and the more he thinks about the greatness of Hashem, it explains the Chassidus, it can create a passion, a yearn for a soul to bond to God. And this is exactly what the Rebbe says in Tanya Perigimel, if you look good. That's the ish, the fire that's there is in the godly soul. And by nature, a Jew wants to cleave to God. He wants to come close to Him. But sometimes that passion, that yearn, that thirst can motivate you, and you could you could cross the line, as they say. That's what we find constantly in the Torah. The sins that the Eibusha mentions in the Torah were not frivolous and just to go against Hashem. It all stemmed, the source of it was people had a passion to become close to Hashem, and they did things, out of line. For example, the children of Aaron, Maaviu, they went into the Holy of Holies. They had too much of a passion. So it explains the Chassidus that a song, shir, is a very, very beautiful thing. And a song that's longing, that's yearning, that you have a fiery passion for, it expresses itself in a dveikus, you want to become close, or you want to awaken yourself and connect to something higher. That's a very, very good thing. And that's the avodah from the Levim who had shir. But together with that, you have to also remember there's the shuv. Rotzoi, you want something, you have a passion for something, you have a yearning for something, that's wonderful. But you always has to be, remember that you're a soul in a body, and you have to be practical, and you have to bring down that fervor into something, into action. And that's what it is between Eish and Mayim. Eish goes up, Mayim, fire goes up, water, Mayim goes down. And that's explains the difference between, in general, between a Kohen and a Levi. A Levi was very passionate. He was full of song, and he expressed his longing, his yearning, his fiery passion to Hashem. And that's very, very, every year has to have that. The Kohen, on the other hand, he was chesed, more calm, collective. He was the one who said, yeah, beautiful that you have that feeling, but let's now bring it down like Mayim, like chesed. We have to bring down godliness into the practical world. And that's where you find the etymology of the word Levi comes from the word, we have it in Parshas Vayetze, when Leah said, my husband will attach himself to me, become closer to me. And then later on in Parshas Koirach it says, but the Levi v'yilovu elecha v'yisharasucha, that the Levi should bond and connect to the Kohen, because he needs that feeling of the Kohen, how to bring down things in a more calmer, collective, water, so to say, concept of bringing down the great feeling into some action. And that's why I said to Rabbi Levi Yitzchok, the name Lamed Vov Yud Mem Levim, as we have in this week's Pasha, Levim Lamed Vov Yud Mem adds up to 86, symbolizing the same numerical value as Elikim. Elikim, we know, is Gevurah. And a Levi, if he doesn't watch himself, and you have too much of that yearn and passion, it could lead to something that may not be favorable in the eyes of Hashem. And that's why we say, every Friday night, sometimes we have where the Kabbalistic wording is dinin mis'arin minei. The outcome can sometimes lead to dinim, which means not properly things, concealment and gvura, severity. And that's why you need the blend of gvura and chesed, the Levi and the Kohen. And that's the reason why Hashem tells in this week's Parsha, "V'heinif Aaron es haLoim." Aaron should elevate the levim. He should watch them. He should overlook them. He should elevate them, which means that he should bring them to their ultimate purpose. Their song, the shir, is very, very great, but it has to be brought down the next step into the shuv, into the action, into remembering we have to fulfill our mission down in this world. It's not only enough that we have this great love and passion to Hashem. You have to have the gvura and the chesed together. And that's why this is also explains, if you want to look it up, and explains so beautiful in Derech Mitzvah Secha from the Tzemach Tzedek, why the Eibishter says that Hashem, that in this week, in the same Parshas over there, Hashem tells Moshe, in this week's Parshas, Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu that all the levim have to shave all the hair from their body. It's all connected to this. It shouldn't grow and to lead to something that's into Gvur, but I'm not going to go into all the great detail. You can look it up. It's very, very beautiful. It's all connected to the same thing, because a Levi, his avodah, which is very good, is expressing the soul's yearn and passion to Hashem. But all that has to be brought down into the practical. That's the shuv, and that's why you constantly see in the Torah that the Levi was connected to the Kohen. Together, you have that blend. You have the gvura, the eish from the Levi. You have the chesed, the mayim, the water from the Kohen. And together, you have a beautiful blend on how to serve Hashem in the most proper way.